Senator, what's your answer? Would you vote to convict President Trump right now?
Well, on the face of it, the evidence seems just damning, frankly. And in fact, I used to always say Donald Trump couldn't shock me anymore, but from his own mouth, it's stunning. It's stunning that he was recently calling for the Chinese to interfere in our elections. This is what our founding fathers warned us specifically about. But again, I am a juror, and I want to look at what the articles of impeachment are. I want to look at all the evidence. But I'm going to tell you, just as an American, this is not just offensive. I think it's grounds for impeachment. And so I'm looking forward to the fullness of this coming out. The House has to go through a process. They will develop articles of impeachment. They will pass them perhaps on the floor before it even gets to the Senate, where there will be a trial. But if you just want to ask me as somebody looking at what the President of the United States is doing, it is contrary to the framers of our Constitution. It is contrary to our national security interests. He is calling for foreign powers to undermine our democracy for his own personal gain, and that's unacceptable.
So why can't you say, yes, you would vote for his removal from office right now if the House were to send you those impeachment articles and the Senate to have to take their duty and vote whether to quit or to convict?
I'm just putting it plain to you. What I see right now is damning. It's damning. But again, I've sworn an oath to be in the office that I am, and there is going to be a trial, and I will be a juror, and I will evaluate the fullness of the evidence on all the articles of impeachment that come before us. All of them, I don't know what they are yet. All the evidence hasn't come out. There could be 20, 30, 40 articles. So let's go through the process. But if you just want to ask me what I believe right now, what he has done is pretty damning.
The Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell, has a new fundraising video out. I'm not sure if you've seen this, but he vows to stop any Democratic-led push for impeachment. Here it is.
Nancy Pelosi's in the clutches of a left-wing mob. They finally convinced her to impeach the president. All of you know your Constitution. The way that impeachment stops is when the Senate majority, with me as majority leader. But I need your help. Please contribute before the deadline.
Granted, a few Republican senators, Susan Collins, Mitt Romney, and Ben Sasse, have now come out and criticized the president specifically over what he said about China, calling on China to investigate Joe Biden. But do you have any reason to believe that if it came time to actually vote, that they would side with Democrats to remove a Republican president from office?
Look, I'm going to remain a prisoner of hope that we will see people, when the time comes, who will choose patriotism over partisanship, who will choose what's in the long-term best interest of this country over what's in their short-term political interest. We saw that in the Nixon impeachment efforts, that eventually Republicans, seeing what the evidence was, broke with him. That's why I think this process that Nancy Pelosi and House leadership is going through right now to get all the evidence out there, because I think all Americans have a line. They have a line that they know that if a president does certain things, enough is enough. No matter what their partisan views are, that's too far. This, to me, is going to be a period in which a lot of stuff is going to expose this president for what he's done. And I think people are going to see more and more that he chooses to pursue his own petty personal ambitions and interests over what is the national security. And I'm hopeful that we will see profiles in courage as this evidence gets laid out and plainly before the American people, that more Republicans will do the right thing.
Senator, the president has continued to throw out more baseless allegations against Joe Biden this weekend on Twitter. The former vice president has now taken on the president directly in a new Washington Post op-ed, and he writes this: Trump is frantically pushing flat-out lies, debunk conspiracy theories and smears against me and my family, no doubt hoping to undermine my candidacy for the presidency, but it won't work because the American people know me and they know him. To be clear, there is no evidence of wrongdoing by the former vice president or his son, Hunter Biden. Even the Ukrainian prosecutor has said as much. Senator, if the overwhelming issue for Democrats is President Trump must be defeated, do you feel that you and other Democrats should be doing more to speak in one voice that Joe Biden's family is off limits?
I've said time and time again that this is unacceptable, that if you come after Joe Biden, you're going to have to deal with me in this case. There's no, as you said, these are baseless, unfounded, scurrilous lies, plain and simple, trying to undermine the character of one of the statesmen of our country, not our party, but our country. And so, yeah, you got a problem with me. I can't speak for this in a political context. This is just me as an American. To see this kind of attacks, and whether it's the lies this president tells about Joe Biden or lies that he tells about other American citizens to demean and degrade them. Hell, I found what he wrote about Mitt Romney to be absolutely unacceptable, assaulting another statesperson in our nation. And so this is a president that is demeaning and degrading. He is lying and deceiving. And there's got to be some accountability. And the fatigue of this country, there's got to come a point that people just say enough is enough. You know, we're a nation of virtue. We're a nation where character matters. And this president is engaging in a level of moral vandalism that's got to offend the sensibilities of all Americans. And so, yeah, I'm sorry. I was taught by my parents, stand up for yourself, but even more noble than that, you should stand up for others who are being wrongfully attacked. And I don't care if it's one of his fellow Republicans, Mitt Romney, or the character of Vice President Joe Biden. It's unacceptable, and he'll have a problem with me, and I will always speak out against those kind of scurrilous attacks, especially from a coward who is showing the greatest type of weakness there is, which is lies, deceptions, and cowardice.
Now, Beto O'Rourke did make a comment, though, that was critical of Hunter Biden's role in a Ukrainian gas company. Take a listen.
I would not allow a family member, anyone in my cabinet, to have a family member to work in a position like that.
Senator Klobuchar also expressed discomfort today with the child of a vice president serving on a foreign board. I mean, you just said President Trump comes after Joe Biden. He has a problem with you. Do you feel Beto O'Rourke and Amy Klobuchar are out of line?
Look, I don't know the context of those statements. I've been one of these people pushing much stronger ethics laws in Washington. This revolving door from Congress to lobbying, I think, is absolutely wrong. That one day you could be voting on something and the next day you can go out and work for that company and reap a big reward. We have a system that is broken, and I think that anybody stating what their beliefs on what the ethics should be, more power to it. I will actually push you to go further when it comes to ethics laws and changes in Washington. But please do not allow this to be a moment where we are engaging in anything that is playing along with the president's attempt to muddy the water and obscure his own behavior, which is repugnant that a president would compromise national security interests for his own political agenda. So I'm not going to play into him. He wants us to be talking about anybody else but him right now. Well, you know what? You are the one that right now is the subject of impeachment proceedings. It is your words, your actions that are at the center of American conversations right now. What you did was wrong. It was wrong. And no matter how much mud you want to try to sling on other people, it cannot hide from the fact that what you have done is just low down, dirty, and wrong, and you're going to have to answer for it. As long as I am a United States Senator, my job is to hold the executive accountable. Checks and balances and oversight. And thank God that's what the House of Representatives is doing right now.
And it's my job to ask questions, so I'm going to ask you another one that you may not want to answer, but are questions about Hunter Biden fair?
Are questions about Hunter Biden fair in the context of a president who is accused of doing really what I would think were unimaginable things? As I said, shocking me? Is it questions about Hunter Biden in this context? Somebody who has been investigated, somebody who, from the Ukrainians to Americans to Europeans, there's no evidence whatsoever. So no, it is not fair that the president of the United States is trying to get all of us to be talking about someone else other than him. What he has engaged in is despicable behavior that was warned about by our founding fathers, by letting foreign governments try to intervene in our elections, and he is doing just that. So if you want to talk about ethics laws, heck, I've been changing ethics laws since I was mayor, trying to put more strict ones in place, and Lord knows Washington needs them. The children of this president are engaging in behavior I think that's unacceptable. But I'm sorry, all of this is side to the center of what we're talking about right now, that the president of the United States of America disregarded Congress and others, held up critical aid to a nation under attack, all to pursue his petty, personal, political agenda. It was so extreme that professionals in the intelligence community came out and blew the whistle on it When have we even heard of that happening? This is a time of crisis for our country. It is a sobered, painful time. I don't care what political beliefs you have. This is a sad moment for this country that we are witnessing this behavior of this president. I will not allow him to change the subject. We must focus now on holding him accountable for his actions.